It's 5:30, and we'll call our meeting to order for Tuesday, February the 20th. Carl.
Councilmember Remley.
Here.
Ronayne.
Here.
Lunsman.
Here.
Slate Hansen.
Here.
Johnson. Bunsness.
Here.
Olson.
Here.
Rux.
Here.
Mayor Leveson.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we need a motion to approve last week's minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion Rux, second by Bunsness. If there are no changes, all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We have no one signed up for open forum. Last week we postponed an item that now shows up in old business, permission to occupy right-of-way space, and city attorney had asked to look at something and let us know.
The only question I had in my mind was the nature of the particular right that would be granted, whether it would be a temporary or permanent, and I think we've got a resolution on that, so we're recommending moving forward.
Move approval. Second.
Motion Bunsness and second by Rux. Any questions or comments about this? If not, all those in favor of approving that request, then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And we'd entertain a motion of items A, B, C on the consent calendar.
Moved. Second.
Motion Olson and Remley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Under new business, Karl brings us a request for a tax refund. Karl?
Thank you, Mayor. This has got a little bit different twist to it than most of the abatements that we see. The property had asked for a refund due to the fact they had missed the tax freeze. They went to the county commission. The county commission recommended that half of the taxes that would have been frozen be refunded back, so they're asking the city council to approve the same.
Moved.
Second.
Motion Ronayne, second by Bunsness.
So is this a senior citizen tax freeze?
I believe it is.
And why do we know why they missed?
I don't
they
have
just
that
missed the
information.
filing deadline? Is that what you're?
I think they missed the filing deadline, yes.
Any other questions? All in favor of granting that refund, then say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item B, request to declare surplus property an old John Deere. Robin?
This is the circle which holds the mold board for a snowplow, basically. And we had purchased one in the event that we needed to replace it on one of our blades. And we no longer have that type of blade anymore, so it's a piece of equipment we cannot use anymore. So we're asking to surplus it. There's a possibility somebody may need it, and it's certainly not doing us any good in the backyard. So,
Moved.
Second.
Motion Ronayne and second by Remley. Any further questions on this? All in favor of approving that, then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And Robin, with a change order and subsequent payment for traffic signal work.
you see a change order in the amount of $13,000 for the traffic controller and cabinet, and requesting final payment, pay estimate number 1 and final payment in the amount of $31,940. Materials have all been delivered and they'll be installed here this spring.
Second.
Motion Slade Hansen and second by Remley. Questions on this? Karl, please.
Councilmember Remley.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Slate Hansen.
Aye.
Bunsness.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Rux.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye. Motion carries. Bills presented for payment from city departments: $706,799. Northwest Energy Utilities, $18,993. Aberdeen Job Fair registration, $75. Phone charges to CenturyLink, $38.29. Taxi cab license refund, fee refund, $25 to Bailey Ernst. Phone charges to NVC, $393. UPS charges, $79. Railroad protection insurance payment to BNSF, $12.66, and printer lease to Konica Minolta, $126.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion Lunsman, second by Olson. Questions on any of those? Karl?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Bunsness.
Aye.
Slate Hansen.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Remley.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. Item E is payroll from February 4 to 17 and city share of Social Security, old age, and survivors' retirement, health, and life.
Moved.
Second.
Motion Ronayne, second by Remley. Karl?
Councilmember Remley.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Slate Hansen.
Aye.
Bunsness.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Rux.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. Lynn?
I just have one item this evening. I asked if Karl would do a year-end sales tax report for the benefit to the city council.
As you can see in the numbers, we finished ahead of where we finished last year, comparing 2016 to 2017. For the first and second penny, we were up 3.38%. The third penny was down slightly at 0.88% less than what we collected last year. If I can get my mouse to work properly. You can see that that is an increase of $283,000 for the first and second penny over last year, a decrease of $9,600 for the third penny. It is $80,000 less than we had budgeted for in the first and second penny, and about $18,700 less than what we had budgeted for in the third penny. We do have reserves in all three of those funds so that we can see our way through that, and we were very conservative when we made the 2018 budget, so that unfortunately we make the budget 18 months before we know what's happening, really, so they're projections, and we're kind of in that accordion style. We contract and expand. The one thing I did want to note is that we do have the agreement with AGP on the construction of their plant, that any of the sales tax that they pay to the state and to the city, 50% of that will be refunded when the project is 100% complete. I've been getting quarterly reports, and after adjusting for what we will have to pay back to AGP up through December 31st, 2017, it does reduce what we collect, so that actually our increase is only 1.28%. We take that money, we put it into a separate fund, so it's there for them. But so when you compare the state's reports to our reports, we're going to show less than what the state does, and that's the reason why, is because we're segregating that out right away so that it's set aside for AGP when they make their final application.
Okay, some of those cities have their own set-asides too.
Yes. Yeah.
So we'll see that reduction in some future report, correct? From some state
Yes.
future report,
Yes.
we'll see a
Yep.
reduction.
When we print our annual financial reports, the amount you'll see for sales tax collection will be the $8,492,000 that's in the lower center there, right under the 1.28. That's what we'll show as actual tax collections, because we committed to the refund, so we aren't going to show that as revenue. We're just going to show that as net.
And the amount of that set aside, Karl, is that the $257,000?
Actually, the amount that's set aside is $173,000 for the first penny and $173,000 for the second penny. So it's about three.
So it's not on there. Okay.
No, it's not. I can
do
bring
wanna
that out if you really.
highlight with, Karl's report is when you look at the municipal tax due for returns filed in calendar year 2017 versus 2016, even with the adjustment after you go from 3.37 down to, what is it, Karl, 1.30, something like that?
Yep.
We still ended up in the center among the 10 largest cities for sales tax return, because actually we were the largest sales tax return increase for the entire state out of the 10 largest cities. But even at that 1.3 adjusted amount, that still put us in the center because when you took the 10 cities and averaged it, the average increase for the entire year for the 10 cities was 8,600. And there are some cities that showed negative returns of 2.75. And so the highest return beyond our 3.37 was 2.84 to Watertown.
And as I said, I'm pretty sure that a number of those cities are in the same situation where they've granted some forgiveness of sales tax too, where they'll have the same deductions or similar, maybe not as large because nobody
hard
has
to
a
make a
project as
comparison.
large, but there'll be some adjustments to the other cities' numbers too.
So what was the big month in bed and booze? That was back in February, 11%. It really carried the day for us, didn't it?
Yeah. Let's see if I can scroll down here a little bit more and get some of those comparative numbers there in the bottom left as a month-by-month comparison. You can see that we started out very good in the general and special sales tax. The bed, booze, and board lagged behind right at the beginning, saw a little kick up in May, and then lagged again.
November.
Last month in November,
Yeah.
yep, November, the last month, is where that came back strong.
Other questions, anybody? Thanks, Karl. Anything else? No?
Nothing else.
One thing I wanted to mention, I was on the way out to a meeting at the Development Corp today at noon, and as I went by, I saw a full loaded grain car train coming in on our tracks from the northwest. I don't think I'd ever seen that since we'd fixed them.
Northeast?
For the northeast, yeah. Looked like at least a 56 car train coming through there. So they were going pretty slowly. When I saw them, they were a half mile away from the crossing. I didn't see them go through the crossing, but it looked like they were down to already about 10 miles an hour.
How fast were you going?
I was late for the meeting, so I was speeding.
It brings up a question. Have we contacted Aberdeen Federal Credit Union? It seems to me that they're going to be the business that's going to be impacted by.
We met with them approximately 2 months ago, Robin and I.
Okay.
To them personally.
Okay. Thank you.
Robin, before we go, people will want to know about the snow removal, I'm sure.
Well, most of it went pretty well for us. This is the first time for the year. Foreman was sick, and so Jeremy was out there doing a lot of the stuff by himself with his guys. So for the most part, it went pretty well, and we're looking to shake a few things up to make sure we do it better the next time. But it's always good to try to improve, I guess.
What kind of a carryover in drivers would you have from year to year, since we haven't done this for a year?
Oh, I think our operators, we're probably at 80% still the same group of people.
Okay.
We do have, as you have operators that either retire or maybe sickness or some of those things, we do have some other people in different departments that have trained for it, and obviously it's good for them to get out and learn the ropes. So,
But that's a good question because we had different tow drivers, we had different patrol officers, and we had 50% of what we remove is from private contractors, and we have no guarantee that they're going to bring the same people back in.
Right. You give out some tickets today, Chief?
I believe we did.
All right. Anybody else? Any questions?
Move to adjourn.
Motion Bunsness, second by Olson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.